Today it's clear that the summer is coming to its end. The warmer days are now behind us, and the leaves are continuing to turn deeper, richer colors, falling with simply the quietest whispers of wind. And the early morning breeze is crisp and clean once again, carrying with it the distinct scent of autumn's return. And with the days getting shorter, the early night sky falls upon us, slowly coaxing the world back to sleep, tempting winter's return, and making each morning distinctly different from the time before. But as we sit here on the turn of seasons, unlike most years, I find myself so looking forward to the time ahead. Ready for the darkness to take over, for the cozier, quieter days, for winter to fall upon us. So I'm sitting outside in the goldenrod right now because the washer is running in the house and it is very loud in there, but it's a beautiful day. This week it's actually gotten rather chilly and it's clear that the turn of seasons is upon us. I I realized the other day that the time around the equinoxes are my favorite parts of the year. There's just something so powerful and beautiful about the energies of these in-between days, and they're the moments I look forward to each summer and winter. So as one is soon to turn the corner, I've just been feeling so happy and at peace every time I'm out in nature. And I feel like I can connect back to it fully again. And well, it certainly helps that it's gotten a little bit chillier and it's just far more easy to be outside again. In the evenings, I've been going down to the creek just to sit and share a cup of tea with the nature around me, as well as to take some time to stand with my feet bare against the ground, as it's really not all that long now until it freezes over and I can no longer connect back to the earth in that way, which usually leads to a bit of a disconnect over the winter months, as nature and grounding to the energy of the earth is really a big part of my practice. But I'm making sure to take in all of it that I can these days. Besides, after the adventures of last week, I'm really enjoying getting back to the simple pleasures in my days. Hello there, you guys. Good evening. So, I have a confession to make. I am not very comfortable at filming these parts of the videos, which is probably a bit ironic and strange since I've been on YouTube for well over a year now, but I'm accustomed to filming talking portions when I am teaching or sharing a story. And so oftentimes while I'm filming a vlog, I kind of get caught feeling like my life isn't all that interesting, so I defer to voiceovers or talking about the weather, which is actually quite lovely today. Besides, I feel like I keep getting trapped in this first date syndrome of sorts, because I know there are always those of you that are new here, and I want to make sure you feel included and like you know what's going on, even though you may have skipped ahead a few chapters in the story. But my week is closing out, and I want to get better at having a conversation with you guys, so I'm gonna give it my best. Tomorrow is the day before Maybon, and I have so much to do. I have a lot of really big plans for that in general. The equinoxes, as I said before, are just my absolute favorite times of year, and I've really been looking forward to this since June, July, August, all of summer, essentially. Besides, this is when I get to make my favorite apple pie, which I am so looking forward to, and I'll begin that tomorrow because if you do it the way that I like to, it takes 2 days. And that's the kind of cooking I prefer. I like the kind that is a little more complex and involved, if you haven't gathered that already. But all that will be in the next vlog to come. This past week, I kind of spent some time trying to catch up on all that I missed last week when I had that whole surgery fiasco, which just kind of took a lot of time and energy. So I wasn't really able to keep on track with my work, and I did get videos out, but there are some really big changes coming and some very exciting things that I want to tell you guys so badly, and the date that I get to tell you guys keeps getting pushed out. So here very, very soon, I promise I will let you in on it, but I just can't quite yet. But because of these exciting things to come and this big transition and change, I have to kind of work double time to get ahead a bit in my work. And right now I've honestly just been behind and posting and late, and it's not the way that I like to be. I am somebody who really enjoys being organized and on time. I like tight deadlines and I like making tight deadlines, and recently that just hasn't been the case, and that's because there have been some medical adventures, as you guys know, but nonetheless I don't like being behind. So this week I've spent a lot of time trying to catch up, and I didn't film a lot of that stuff because it's not all that interesting to film editing or filming, but that'll be the case for the next couple of weeks, and maybe I'll try to find a way to show it to you guys too, because honestly the majority of my days are spent working, and I have yet to find a good way to document that in an intriguing way, but I'll work on it. Beyond that though, this week finally got cold and all of the heat has seemed to have left. It has just been absolutely beautiful outside. I've been able to be out all day, not just in the mornings and evenings, and even in the mornings it's a little bit too chilly to walk with your feet bare against the ground, which can be a little bit sad, but I am still able to walk in the evenings and afternoons, and as long as I have that, I'm pretty content. But it's really exciting to see the earth just shifting and changing. I love this time of year. I know I keep saying this, but the equinoxes, they're just so beautiful and powerful. I deeply love the transitions of these times. And even though we're entering soon into winter, which is a time that I love for its slowdown and coziness, but it does tend to make my practice a little bit more difficult, as I'm somebody that works very tightly with nature. As you've seen, I love foraging and I love working with plants that I can just get outside, and in the winter months that becomes incredibly limited. So as much as I'm looking forward to the change in scenery and just new experience and shift in season, I am also working pretty hard to prepare and gather all the herbs that I can now so that I will have them come winter. In other news though, I got to go to my cousin's wedding yesterday, which I didn't film any of because I want to respect it being her time and her space, but I was on grandma duty. It was kind of special privileges that I even got to go, but my grandmother needed a ride, and so I was the grandma driver, and it was fantastic. I haven't been able to sit down with my grandma like that in an incredibly long time, and we had so many conversations about our heritage and these adventures that she's been on to try to discover the history of our ancestry. Both of her grandparents were Norwegian and Swedish, but there was some uncertainty with one of her grandfathers, and so she and her sister 20 years back went on a wild adventure through Norway, just trying to hunt down any information they could gather, and which I just think is beyond amazing, especially since trying to understand the history of my heritage is deeply important to me. I know there's a significant amount of Scandinavian in me, but I don't know exactly how it works out or
who really came over here. I do know my grandmother's grandparents were immigrants, and I remember I did a report on them when I was in middle school, I believe, but that was a long time ago. And back then I didn't really appreciate how much that was going to mean to me later in life. Being in the melting pot of America does sometimes make it a little bit challenging to feel connected to your lineage. And I come from an incredibly close-knit family, which is something I know I'm very lucky to have. But even with that and the records that we are aware of, it's still hard to figure all that stuff out. And being as far removed as I am from those who emigrated here does make it difficult to connect to that heritage of sorts, I suppose. And I know this isn't really that big of a deal for most people, and it's probably not on everybody's radar, but in recent years, I have felt so compelled to find out where I was from. So I think that's something I'm gonna start looking towards more seriously now. And after spending 4 hours in the car with my grandmother, I think I have a pretty good head start, along with some ideas on where to go from here. Besides, she is gonna work on kind of digging up her old files that she did have on my great-great-great-grandparents, which I think will be very helpful and just really interesting to go through. I know a little bit, and from what I did a report on a million years back, I do remember those things a bit, but it'll be interesting to really delve into it this time with it not being a school project, but more just a personal thing to achieve or a need to fulfill. But anyways, that was a whole tangent, and I don't even know much right now, but this has been something that has felt very important to me recently, and it is kind of an ache to know, especially as at the present moment my home is starting to fall away from me, which is something I'll talk about a little later. But things are changing, and the place that has been my home forever is changing, and changing in ways that are not exactly conducive to how I want to live. So I think in losing some of that, I've been wanting to find something more. But I'm very excited for this adventure and trying to learn. I always love having something new to delve into. It's kind of my favorite thing to do, especially history. Besides, this may lead me on some adventures that I never would have expected. So with that, I think I'm gonna end this vlog here, and I hope to see you soon. Next time, celebrating Mabon, which may be up a little later than Mabon, and I think this video is probably going to be up after Mabon because I have a lot of editing to do, but I'm gonna try my best to get it up as quick as I can. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.